Today, I'm going to show you guys how to form Germany, starting as Austria. And I wanted to make this guide a more beginner-friendly focus guide that isn't going to rely on a lot of RNG. So I hope you guys enjoy that style. I do these type of videos few and far between, but I try to give the beginner audience a little bit to go on. Before we get into it, I'm starting a second channel for variety content. I'll be playing whatever games I want on that channel, things like 7 Days to Die, World of Warcraft, League of Legends, Ark Survival Evolved, etc., etc. If that interests you, you can check out the channel. If not, don't worry about it. I'll go ahead and pin a comment with the link to that channel if you guys are interested. Anyhow, let's get into it. Beginner friendly Austria to Germany. Let's do it. We're starting as Austria and we're going to be forming into Germany. So we're not going to be doing the Imperial path. This is actually my preferred way to play Austria because I think it's a lot more fun. Anyhow, let's get started. It'll be a little bit of a guide for you guys. It's not going to be perfect, but it'll get you there. I'm trying to make this guide a bit, we'll call it RNG proof, quotation marks around that. But I don't want to alter 4. I don't want to rely on the inheritance, those type of things. We are going to start in a situation where we can get Poland to be friendly. I don't think that's that uncommon, to be honest. He has to not rival you, and I think it's pretty rare for him to actually rival you. With Burgundy, he might rival you sometimes, so I'll just go ahead and leave that alone. For the sake of the gameplay, we'll assume he rivaled us, even though he's friendly. Start with the estates. Here are my estates. Notably, we didn't take the diplomatic privilege, just the other two. Go ahead and seize land. We're just going to stick with level 1 advisors. Even though we have half-off ones, we don't want to get into too much debt. I guess it's level 2 half-off's okay. I don't want to do the level 3 admin. That's half-off. We're going to mothball forts. And we're going to build up our army to 12 fort in each stack. We can give our ruler military command. That's totally fine. And then, yeah, we'll work on getting our second stack up. It's not going to get there immediately, but we'll get there in a bit. We're just going to work on our first mission at the top, secure electors. So we can just go ahead and ally different electors. We don't want to ally to Brandenburg because we're going to attack him a bit here. So maybe Saxony would be a better choice. A lot of times those two will rival, and then we'll just try to ally whatever electors will get us there. That should be good to go. There we go. Pretty easy mission, of course. Now we're going to pick the second path, the German unification path. That's actually going to give us claims. We got claims over here, you can see. Now this guy's allied to Lithuania, so we can just wait for the wedding to happen. And if it doesn't, we'll fight Lithuania, no problem. But I'd rather try to see if I could avoid doing that. Also some rivals, though. That's totally fine. Could rival Bohemia, of course. We probably want to get that union. What we can do, just if we want to play it safe, just for a good strategy for you guys, is we can focus military and just kind of build up our army instead of going to war straight away. Normally I would go to war straight away, but I think it's totally okay if you want to play it safe. Get your mill to 4. Not a bad idea whatsoever. In the meantime, we can dev up the gold here. Of course, we want to give out the dev edict first. We don't want to use our mill points because we're trying to get our mill tech to 4. And in the meantime, we're just trying to build up to that 12-4 for a second stack. So we got 2 stacks ready to go, 12-4, both of them. Pulling out a Jagillion, which is good, meaning that he got Lithuania, so he's a bit of a stronger ally. Pretty normal stuff. Now I have the Union War that I could do. Of course, we could also be currying favors here. Might as well get a royal marriage going. I'm not playing too optimal here. This is kind of meant to be an easy guide to forming Germany. In a normal situation, I probably would have already gone to war, but I want to make this just kind of relaxed, chill run. We'll rival the Burgundy. Even though he was friendly to me, I'm just doing it to kind of simulate that possibility that he rivaled to you. I almost got 10 favors with Poland here. And we could turn on our army and use Poland to assist us. Now, depending on your RNG, you might not need Poland to help you with this war. It's just kind of recommended. If you couldn't get Poland to help, it just really depends on allies. You might want to restart your campaign if it was like impossible to fight this war, but I doubt that would be the case. But when we start this war, we just want to go for his 2 forts. I'll go to forest speed so we don't run into anything. But usually I just kind of go for what I would consider a siege race. Could even call in some of our other allies like Saxony as a great distraction, generally speaking. Normally, this is kind of how this will go. Saxony will just get targeted like this. If you were worried, like here, like I might be a little worried. Oh, maybe he's going to group up with and fight that. I could just go ahead and prepare to reinforce. We'll just kind of try to read what the AI is doing, and maybe this would be a little bit less greedy of a way to handle the situation. Okay, so the AI has chosen to go for my capital. Not a big deal. We got the Milanian succession. We could say the throne belongs to us just in case. I'm not really sure that I want to do that, but it's good to leave your options open. We're kind of just chilling here. We'll wait and see what happens. Again, if we wanted to be a little bit smarter, we would have waited for mill forward, make that easier, but I wasn't really that worried about it. Really, we just want to siege out Prague. That's the war goal. So we got the war goal, and now it's just a matter of sieging out another fort and just playing safe, trying not to get our troops caught out. The allies are doing a good job of just doing the heavy lifting for us. Of course, we're just going to go for a union here. Okay, so that siege is over. He's getting pretty siege down. And again, it wouldn't be a bad idea to just kind of dev up the gold. Of course, we don't want to use mill points, as I said before, but that's totally okay. We can extend infrastructure for a little cheaper cost. I like to dev it to 10 and then kind of stop. It also completes a mission for you. You have the Austrian silver. But as soon as he's willing to accept the union, we can go. We don't need to be greedy. We could go for, say, the gold if we really wanted to, but I wouldn't really worry too much about it. Okay, so we got the PU. That's obviously going to be a lot of AE, but it also completes a mission for us, the Crown of Bohemia. That works for us. We obviously want to improve with Poland from here. Now, we might be able to get Hungary as well in a bit here, but it's RNG, and since this was kind of an RNG-proof run, or meant to be that, I kind of just want to take the fight to Hungary. But perhaps we'll wait a bit, because, taking Bohemia was kind of aggressive. We can kind of just play it slow. Again, this is kind of just like a chill guide to form Germany, or at least that's the intent. So, good idea here. Something I could be doing, or could have mentioned this, is that the Improved Relations Advisor is really helpful when you're trying to get rid of aggressive expansion and that sort of thing. But kind of just going through, we got Mill 4. We could definitely go to this war with Hungary if we wanted to. We could wait to see if we get the event. That wouldn't be a bad idea. I believe the event's in 55, where you possibly get Hungary. So I actually died. This is perfect. I didn't want to get the RNG where we get Hungary for free because, again, this is meant to be an RNG proof, quote unquote, guide. Let's go ahead and seize land though. And once we're above 20 Kremlin, we can grant that last mana proof. I think it's nice to be above 10 Kremlin at all times. You can just go ahead and grant all 3 mana privs if you want, of course. I'm just more of a fan of trying to keep that autonomy in a good spot. Now, one thing we could do is go ahead and go to our trade node, or rather, maybe a trade node in the center of the HRE and collect from there instead of Pest or Krakow. The reason we want to do this is just to establish communities, like it's improve relations with a bunch of people. Could also do it over here too. It's just not as valuable over here. You can see it's only a couple people, so maybe we'll move that over here. I'm not really worried about making money from trade, especially in the early game, so we'd rather have the improved relations modifiers. Any event where they want help, we're just gonna lose authority because we don't really care doing the whole HRE thing. Like, we want to be voted for if we can. Like, right now we can, but because we don't have an heir, but ideally we would be voted for. I could hold this event here to get the union later, but we'd have to actually hurt Poland quite a bit, and I don't really plan to do that in the short term at least. But it wouldn't be a bad idea just to wait a few years to kind of let that AE cool off. Just check our coalition map mode. That's the map mode I'd recommend adding for you guys. But yeah, it's not too bad. We can kind of just like, maybe wait a year or two and then go. We are making quite a bit of money because of the gold. So we paid off our burger loans. Give the inflation policy out. It's always a good idea. We have a special privilege here we can grant out too. Go ahead and do that. I think that's a good one. So we'll wait until the end of the year here. 1454, that seems like a good place to look to go to war with Hungary. He's still fighting for there. We, of course, are going to select the Restoration Union. We could call him Poland, and I'd recommend doing so. Might as well do that here. That's why I always like Poland as an ally. Is kind of willing to carry your early wars. Not that you really even need the carry as Austria, but might as well make things nice and clean. It's always a good idea to kind of check during the war, right when you start. Okay, what would the union with Hungary look like? Okay, we have 2 people mad. Maybe we want to improve with Munich, just so he doesn't, get too upset about it. But other than that, you can see it's not that big of a deal. We waited long enough. We've got our improved relations modifiers going pretty well. And again, it would be more ideal to get this union for free, but it doesn't really matter either way in the long run. Let's go ahead and end the war. We'll take the union. We could try to take a little bit of money, but really, I don't really care if you guys take money or not. Not really a big deal. Of course, this event will happen. Hungary inherits Croatia, and we want to improve with Hungary. Of course, he's going to be a bit upset about the situation here. Let's also tech up to 4 across the board. Although I do recommend that we hold our points for Diplo. We don't want to go to Diplo 5. We're going to hold that to try to get some espionage ideas. That's always a good idea when you're forming Germany. We can go ahead and complete the Clan of Hungary and Royal Hungary. That just makes them into a incorporated PU. Might as well just grab this mission. We could look to attack him later, but we do have permanent claims if we want. Now let's grab our tier 2. There's a lot of good choices for tier 2. Conference of the Nobility is pretty solid. I don't mind ministerial promotion as well. Just whatever you guys prefer. I'll do conference with nobility for the stab cost. I'll be sure to turn off my army and mothball forts when I'm not at war. Let's get a new rival. How about Venice? Get up to mill 5 here. That's good. We can't stop focusing mill when it's available in 1460. Probably focus admin. One thing I'm going to do here is actually break off one of my relations here because I want to ally to the Pope just so I can get more papal points. And we could even buy indulgences to move that along. It's a really good thing if you can get the papacy. I wouldn't recommend birding for it or anything like that. I'm just kind of like, it'll make your campaign just kind of fun if you get it. Treat it as a mechanic like that. That's what I think is the best way to look at it. Like, your campaign can go crazy if you get it, but you don't really want to rely on it. I'm going to do what the clergy wants here just so I can seize land again. I prefer to seize land and not get rebels, so it's all above 50. So we are going to hold our Diplo points, at least for now. The idea is that we want to invest into our ideas straight away so that we can get through espionage, at least 2 ideas in to get the state propaganda. And one thing I forgot to do is you really want to be trying to hold a couple of these objectives to get to this just for the wars as well as keeping your prestige high. These are all important things when you're trying to manage your aggressive expansion. The idea here with AE is that it's always ticking down. We're going to use this as a resource. So if it's ever at 0, you should probably go to a war and kind of get that ticking down, so to speak. We got the Renaissance appearing in our gold mines, which we devved it up a bit. We can go ahead and embrace that. Okay, we're kind of holding those points, trying to get our admin done first. We might hit max points though, and we can just kind of maybe dev up a little bit more, and this time use the mill points. We don't want to dev the gold mine too high though, or it has a higher chance of collapsing, of course. Teutons want to join the HRE. That is a-okay with me. I don't really mind either way. My next war is gonna be Brandenburg. I'm kind of just waiting for the right moment to do that. I could improve with the Pope as well here. Again, the better relations I have with the Pope, the more papal points I'm gonna get. The Teutons are in the HRE and no big deal. And I could go ahead and you can see pass reform here. I have 68 points, but I really don't care to. I really need an heir so I get voted for. That'd be preferred. I'd rather not lose the emperorship, but if I do, I do. I'm capping points again, so we're just gonna dev that gold mine up just a little bit more. It's getting kind of dangerously high though. There's a good chance it's gonna deplete. But it's making us a lot of money, so I can't complain, right? At least yet. I'm gonna go ahead and build some churches. Might as well. We have a bit of extra money laying around. And it looks like the classic Danzig event happened, and we don't really care about the authority that much, so it doesn't really bother us like it would in a HRE focused game. I'm kind of just waiting at the moment here. We get a 533 air event. That's not too bad. I'll take that. And then that maybe makes we can get voted for again. And if we have a lot of authority like we do now, it's kind of nice because we kind of just get voted for free. Looks like we'll be getting voted for again. We could improve relations with these guys a bit if we felt like we needed to. We almost have a large city done. Is it an age objective? So I'm just going to go ahead and dev this up a bit. I'm okay with that. I'm referring to the Age of Discovery objectives here. Could almost get the Golden Age. I like the Golden Age as soon as possible because it kind of gets you the snowball going. Let's make sure we're seizing land on cooldown. We can consider selling titles if we're above 30 as well. We hit admin 5 here, so we're going to go ahead and pick up espionage. We've been saving our points. We're nearly at cap here. And the idea here is that we just want to grab the state propaganda, which is the big one. I can change my focus probably now. Actually, we'll leave it for now because we want to hit mill 6 first. But we got our state propaganda, and we should feel okay to go to war. We could wait for this, but I don't really think it's too necessary. Go ahead and Golden Age. As I mentioned, we'll do that early. With any luck, we actually can get this before we end the war. But we are going to go ahead and go to war with Brandenburg. Get our army turned on, get our forts activated. The Emperor is dead. Okay. We got reelected. Now, depending on your RNG, you might be able to call in Poland or call in your other allies. I'm not going to call in any allies because I don't think I need to. I already have these 2 PUs to help me out, as well as I probably just have a bigger army. Those wars shouldn't be too difficult for you. We're just going to go through it quickly. Of course, you have your 2 PUs to do a lot of the heavy lifting if you need. But of course, your RNG is going to be different than mine. Depending on who he allies, it could be a difficult war. Our gold mine actually depleted, so that's what we get for depping it so much. Totally okay. It happens. We'll just keep pushing through espionage, though. We're going to just focus on getting through espionage and not worry about getting our tech up. Although I should try to fix my relations. I will go ahead and try to fix those relations, though. I'm over my relation limit. We'll get rid of one of the electors. This guy's giga voting for me, so maybe he still will even after we break alliance. Okay, so this war is just about done. And of course, we're just going to see what we can take. We want to check this. We could have waited a little bit because you can see we could have got the Justified Wars. Probably would have been smart, but that's a-okay. So the priority in this war is getting the mission tree provinces first. We need Berlin for sure, and then 4 other provinces. And then we'll kind of just go from there and see if we want to take more. You can see here if we wanted to fully annex them, we'd be looking at potentially a large coalition. However, we're totally okay with that. We have the Polish alliance and we have 2 personal unions. So let's go ahead and do that few still, and then we'll start using our guys to improve with outraged. We need to core that up, of course. If you auto improve with diplomats, you actually want to let it pick one and then right click to cancel it because it'll automatically cancel at 0, and you want it to get to 50 if they've joined a coalition. I guess in my case, they haven't even joined a coalition, but I just kind of want to explain to you what would be a good idea to do because you have to get to plus 50 relations for them to drop the coalition. Again, we're just going to be coring up, playing it slow, no rush. Can always try to get the papal controller if we'd like. We'll just grab some levy church tax. Obviously, it's fun to shoot for it because if you get it, it's really, really effective. Poland's looking for some help. Sure, don't mind. I'll probably just, hang out and do nothing. But, I'll tell them that I was going to help. But really, right now, I could be saving some money. Of course, we're not at war. I like to multiply forts. If you do want to drill your army, that's viable too. I think it's just one or the other. You can either have your army on and be drilling, or you can turn your army off completely. But I wouldn't leave your army on and do nothing. That's not ideal. Want to boost our stab to 1, of course, for that prosperity. We have seen these rebels that are going to be on their way. We might as well just turn the army back on. Of course, we're going to state up all the provinces here. The war is over. That was pretty quick. Anytime that our crown land is above 25, we can go ahead and just sell titles and then seize land if they're both available, of course. Again, we're just trying to stay above 20, and that will keep us happy. Got a negative stab event. That's okay. We just want to try to get our stab up there in a minute. Can focus admin now, too. We got to mill 6, which is kind of the big power spike we wanted. We got quite a bit of money here laying around. We might as well invest it. Just build some churches. And there are some rebels we want to take care of. Let's just take care of the rebels quickly, and then we can turn off our army and save up money. Let's also check to see if anyone would take knowledge sharing that would give us more money. I'm just kind of noticing Saxony would want that. Oh, it's just Saxony. Okay, well, we might as well take his money. It's not much, but all right, so let's go ahead and provoke. We're doing this just so we can get our maintenance turned back off. Rather be saving that money. So let's just go in and provoke, and then we can turn that army off. Probably should just get rid of my navy too, but I'll turn that off as well. Get an age ability. We're gonna go for that justified wars with AE impact. We might as well just be improving with neighbors if our diplomats are just chilling. The coalition never really ended up forming. So just go ahead and improve with neighbors. Just remember, coalitions can smell fear. So as long as you're not afraid, no worries for you. Extra diplomat here for that as well as some advisor costs. We do want to get stability in a better spot. We're not going to help any of these free cities, though. They can make do on their own, so to speak. We unfortunately cannot help them. For tier 3, I like Expanded Royal Court for the Reform Progress Growth, but if you're not planning to play too long of a campaign, it's super viable to pick either decentralized or central. I think both are pretty good. So in the case that my campaign scope was, say, not going to go to the Age of Absolutism, I probably wouldn't pick Expanded Royal Court. We'll just go ahead and pick this one instead because it gives you some autonomy change. Don't stress over that too much. Either of them is going to work. Let's try to make sure we keep at least level 1 advisors at all time and then the Improved Relations advisor in our Diplo slot. Let's use our extra diplomat to improve with neighbors as well. Remember, we want to check our coalition map modes, kind of see how we're doing there. You can see we have about negative 33 for a lot of people, so we're in a good spot, meaning that AE is ticking down. We didn't get the papal controller, sadly. What do? You got to try. You got to put a couple more points in, gamble. And to be fair, I'd probably alt it for it if I got the RNG because I don't want you to rely on it. But I do think it's worth trying to invest some points. I think it's a fun thing if you get it. Also, you probably should go for the inheritance, but again, I don't really want to have you relying on that type of RNG. We'll seize land again here, but again, if we were able to seize land and to sell titles and we were at 25%, then I would do that. So kind of like every other one. But yeah, we're just pushing through espionage right now too. Don't worry about being behind in tech with that either. And we can even push up to tech 7. What's really nice about espionage is that it has vetting, which gives you negative yearly corruption. So even if you're unbalanced in your research, it doesn't really matter. Speaking of corruption, though, I usually try to put that slider to the max. I just haven't done that in this campaign. Now, depending if you want to fight rebels, I would recommend lowering autonomy. I'm kind of lazy. If you guys are on the ball and you guys want to be efficient, it's definitely a good idea. We did get cannons, though, so we might as well upgrade our stacks. I like 1244. Just get a little bit of cannons in there if you can. You can also check our force limit and see if we maybe want a third stack of guys, and that doesn't seem like a bad idea. So maybe we just make a template here. Call it template name because that's, the perfect name. Let's get a general in each of our stacks if we can. We want to make sure that we're not going to be over our general limit, which is right now we can have 5, so that's good. We've got our better leader in control now. That's good. Got a stab event. That's always blessed. Let's activate our forts. And never be afraid of a little bit of debt. You'll always be able to pay that off later. And speaking of, it would be a good idea to get an alliance with Castile. You can probably start fishing for that alliance. It would be odd for Castile to rival you. And I believe you can actually ally Castile straight away when the game starts if you'd like. But you can see we're losing a little bit of money, and that's totally fine. You don't need to stress too much about that. You could always remove a few forts if we felt like we needed to. But we also got the unfortunate RNG that we lost our gold mine a bit early. Anyhow, we are just kind of focusing our missions down. We want to just work on getting this one done here. So we just need to take Salzburg and then go ahead and take some other provinces. We need to send an insult because we have 2 good relations. That's fine. We're above 100 here. So again, we could call in allies. We probably don't need to. Though keep in mind, if you want to take land from a secondary target, you don't want to co-belligerate because it's more AE if you try to take something without co-belligerating. But again, you kind of just have to look at if that would be a viable option for you. I'm not going to co-belligerate anybody because I don't really think I need those provinces. But yeah, this war should be super, super easy. It's just against 3 smaller nations. Make light work of it. Now, in a war like this, you often want to look at secondary targets and try to farm prestige. Remember, prestige is improved relations and also aggressive expansion impact. So it's one of the best things to have for trying to form Germany, trying to do a lot of conquest. Best thing we do here is often end rivalry and then war reps. We don't really need the war reps, but if we're patient, we could get it. But we'll just go with the triple end rivalry for 15 prestige. You can see that's just a way to get a prestige up. This is also why you often don't want to call in allies to your war because it'll be split up between based on war participation. But if you don't call any allies, then you will get all that prestige for yourself. And obviously that's going to go a bit further. Naples has inherited Burgundy. That's so odd. I like it. Now we could demand it back and that would be fine. We could also go for restoration of union, but I'm not really going to bother. My goal is forming Germany, and the provinces over there aren't really that important for that goal. So we're going to go to Würzburg here and do the same thing we did as the other wars. So just kind of get that prestige to max. See if we got 100 prestige now. Almost through espionage as well, which is good. Then we can start doing our diplotech. Anyhow, we're just going to go and take that province, take money. We do have a mission down here, the balance of power. We have on at least 5 wars. This is a pretty handy one. It makes it so your diplomat will grant AE expansion. And that is the improved relations advisor anyways, so it's kind of a win-win. So you can see if you look at our modifiers and we look at aggressive extension impact, we just get 4% for the advisor, so it's handy. And we can kind of just look to go into the next war. That was only a little bit of land, so we can go to war with Landshut. And again, if we felt like calling in our allies, we could. We already maxed prestige, so it wouldn't really matter. I'll say sure, why not? And we can look to co-belligerate Brunswick if we wanted to. We do need land eventually. So we have good relations with Brunswick. So if we want to do that, we need to insult him first. As the Emperor, we can take land regardless of distance, even though we are bordered here. Yeah, let's go ahead and declare that war. We will co-belligerate Brunswick. And just go ahead and call in Poland. It shouldn't be too difficult of a war as well. If we're impatient, we can start barraging. Just don't assault. Unless it's under 1,000 garrison, that's kind of my general rule. Really shouldn't do that. But again, I'm not going to tell you not to because I'm impatient and I often will assault. So again, it's just totally up to you. We demanded the lowlands were given back. I didn't know. There we go. He gave them back. It's just going to be a bit helpful for us. It's not really a big deal either way, though. We don't really care. And then you see we have tons of different targets in the war. If you needed more prestige, there's always that option. But again, we're already kind of maxed on prestige, so we're not going to worry too much. I don't recommend doing this, but if you're lazy, you can just auto siege. But again, I don't think this is a good habit to get into. Do as I say, not as I do. You'll see a situation like this where you're getting a double sack, and that's not really that effective. So definitely not the best thing to do. Now, I recommend if you didn't co-belligerate, and of course that's just based on, you can see the flag here. If it's not co-belligerated, we just go ahead and piece those guys out for white peace, because we might want to attack these guys later. And if we commit to taking money and war ups and all that type of stuff, we're going to get a truce with them. So I'm just going to go ahead and white peace. You can get money if you want. I just don't like to commit to not fighting them for longer, and I'm doing fine on money. Definitely a good idea to remove some forts slow as you conquer, but these are mountain forts. Those are going to be your best. Definitely not the best idea to delete those. But in forest, you could delete these. I'm going to leave the forts, just kind of giving you guys that, like, if you want to, you definitely should feel like you can. We're just going to go through, though, and get Frankfurt out. White PC's targets that we didn't co-belligerate. We're just going to kind of look at the provinces and see what it would look like. You can see a tiny bit of a coalition would be possible to form, but if you look at those guys combined, they're really not that scary to you. You have Poland, you have your two unions, but we of course wanted to look at being a little bit more greedy here and going for Brunswick, the other guy here. We just kind of wanted to start getting German land. So probably just separate peace and take everything Brunswick has. It's going to be quite aggressive, of course, but not a huge problem. And then we're going to look at piecing out the main target. And he's got a union scenario here. So we actually probably want to annex him and his subject. You can see that this would be quite a large coalition, but really, we're Austria. We're really not concerned about it. Coalitions aren't as scary as you guys might think they are. We can, again, always just be improving with outraged, improving with neighbors. That sort of thing can definitely be helpful. In fact, we'll just call those guys off to start doing that. And yeah, we'll see if we get coalition. We may not even get coalition. It just depends. One thing I do recommend, though, is don't go over 100 overextension, or you're going to get a lot of nasty rebels. Definitely do not want to do that. But we should be able to do our mission here now. We're kind of just working towards this unified Germany mission. That's the big one. We know that we're going to need to take out Switzerland at some point. Poland wants some help, sure thing. We're getting a little fort heavy, so we're going to delete some of those. Or we can delete this one that's kind of covered already. Now, one of the electors is gone, and we could elect somebody else, but we don't really need to, because again, we don't care about authority being bad. So it might be a good idea to improve. You can see here we're not getting voted for because we're controlling other electors. That's okay. One thing we can do is just usurp the electorate. That way we're not getting those negative penalties as bad. And then we can just kind of improve with the Palatinate a bit. He's our ally. I don't want to royal marriage him just in case I want to break alliance with him, of course. But we'll just go ahead and improve relations. Go ahead and mothball our forts though when we're not at war. And now that that war is done, we're just going to go ahead and sell titles, seize land. Again, we're doing this because we were above 25, and then sell titles brings us to 15, but then we're back to 20. So I'm trying to stay at 20 or above. But we can go ahead and just pay off that one loan that we got there. No big deal. Corn up some stuff. You just want to full state everything when we can. We are focusing admin now, though, so that's going to be helpful. Again, we have a lot of AE now, so it's totally fine to just kind of hang out. I like to call it an era of peace. We just kind of wait for our AE to cool off. We can finish up espionage finally. It's good. Then we can start doing our diplo ideas. And maybe before we do any further expansion, we actually could pick up admin ideas. Wouldn't be a bad idea. We can build up some workshops now. We unlock that tech. Totally fine with that. Let's throw some points into the church. Why not? 14% chance. Not the biggest, but not the worst. Really capped on mill, and anytime this happens and we're not quite ready to get our tech, we can just go ahead and invest into some generals to get some professionalism. We want to delete the ones above our cap, of course. Got a few rebels to handle. And we can pick up the war taxes costs for the age. We just want to make sure that we turn this off after the age. And we could think about provoking some rebels, just so we can turn off our army again. So anywhere that we can provoke. Although a lot of these aren't at 50 yet, so we kind of have to be patient. Just go ahead and provoke where we can. We have a ton of manpower because we're the emperor, so we never really have to worry too much about that. We got enough votes to keep that going. In general, when you get these events, I recommend taking the stab drop, not the government reform progress hit. Government reform progress is something you cannot buy with points, where stab is something you can buy with points. We'll pick up Abin 7, and we want to pick up Abin ideas so we can core a bit better, more efficiently. So before we go into more wars, we probably are going to wait to pick up adaptability. Man, we didn't get elected. Unlucky. Next time. Get him next time. Pick up Mill 8, and we can finally start getting our Diplotech up, because that caught up in no time. It's not a big deal to be behind in the other game at all. Gonna go ahead and provoke a few more rebels, see if we can get that maintenance back to turned off so we can save money. We have that expensive edict, we can get rid of that. We could dev the gold back a bit if we wanted to, though, but it's not really a big deal either way. Waiting just a bit to seize land here. I guess where our equilibrium's actually a little too low. Let's just grab one more thing. We'll give development of temples. I generally try to keep the equilibrium above 50 so I can seize land without pain. Although you probably should seize land, even if it costs you some rebels. I'm just lazy. There we go, can seize land, no rebels. And then next time we'll be able to sale title seize land. So it's kind of that every other one, we get a big boost of money. So getting through admin. Again, we're not really doing too much. We just are provoking rebels. And then hopefully we'll be able to turn off our army. That's kind of the ultimate goal. So we can save money. Okay, so we got all the rebels provoked. Now we are going to turn off the army maintenance. We got our tier 4. And I like to do expand temple rights, especially if we're building a lot of churches. And we are in this case. I'm going to go and grab this decision here that's available. Got a half of 2 here we can afford. Also, improve relations advisor, and we always just want to make sure we would pick up another one. Even if we had to fire advisors and cycle through, we would do that if we had to. But we want to get our Diplotech kind of getting caught up. That looks good. We are just going to straight focus into at least adaptability before we worry too much about doing anything more in admin as far as tech goes. In fact, we'll probably just finish up admin before we worry about that too much. Yeah, a little bit of a prestige hit here. That's never good. We'll just have to make sure we get that back before we end the next war. We can always keep an eye on our AE and kind of see it's not too bad. It's a little bit high in some of these places, but really overall it's not too bad. We're just improving relations with our neighbors as we can while we're kind of just hanging out. It's never a bad idea to build some extra churches, build some workshops. We got adaptability. That was kind of what we were waiting for our conquest. So now that that's done, we can turn on our army. We can also activate our forts. We'll just grab a level 2 advisor for Avon now. It's probably within our price range, or not too far off. Probably not to reduce our inflation that's just kind of snuck up on us a bit. We have that policy too that helps with that. Can also pick up Diplo 7. So yeah, we can see we're kind of easily able to catch our Diplo up. That being said, let's go ahead and get to our next war. It's going to be versus Switzerland. We're going to need to insult first. So again, then we have 2 good relations. We don't have claims anymore, or maybe we never did. So we actually need to fabricate those before we consider going to war. We just need to get at least 5 provinces in Switzerland for that part of the objective. This event here, it's a unique one. Just make sure you create the council, of course. You get until the end of the game dip rep and idea cost. Super, super good. You can see the cycle here is we are at 25, so we'll sell titles, post 15, seize land. That's something I've been doing. It's a good way to get a lot of money. Could use some of that money to build some workshops. We'll try to save a couple hundred though for the war and all that. Let's go ahead and fabricate a claim on Switzerland, and we can get ready to jump into that war. So activate our forts. Go ahead and just declare war. We actually might need to send a new insult, which we can't do. Unfortunately, we're actually looking to take a stab drop here because he likes us so much. We improve relations with him, even though I perhaps could have set a scornful insult, but that's okay. We have to take a stab hit. We take a stab hit. It's not a big deal. Go ahead and declare that war. And we'll boost our stab back up to 1. I like to keep that at least 1. Again, this war should not be very difficult. A nice jousting tournament event. I could get an idea here, but I'm going to save my points to core. Of course, I'm going to need to have some points to do that. But before we end this war, it's actually a good idea to do some end rivalries because we did lose a bit of prestige. It'll just help with that AE when we end up taking the war. And then we'll just go ahead and fully annex Switzerland. Looks good to me. Take a little bit of multi. And then again, we'll just mothball those forts after the war. Could probably delete some forts if we really wanted to, but we're probably okay for now. Of course, this is the main part of this was doing this mission here. And then we just kind of got one more mission to go to be able to form Germany. Always good idea to check our AE map mode. You can see that was kind of aggressive. So again, it is going to be time for a era of peace, as I like to call it. And we can turn off our maintenance for a little bit, but of course we're going to get rebels. We might as well turn it off until then. We are once again capped on mill, and so we'll just go ahead and spam out some generals. Good idea to try to get your professionalism up early on, especially when you have these extra points laying around. Just keep pushing through our admin. And anytime we have extra money, we can look to build some buildings. We don't want to leave ourselves with no money, though. So kind of need to look through and see what we're missing. We know we need to look at Minga. Our AE is pretty high right now. I'm not necessarily thinking that we should go to war now. We kind of just want to think about preparing for that. Let's get these rebels provoked, or maybe we can just wait for them if we're patient. But we're not patient. Just provoke them. Get that army back off. Get back to saving money. Actually, the clergy wants. They just want us to dev Vienna. I guess I will just so I can seize land sooner. Totally okay with that. Then we can get money in the next cycle, of course. Kind of build more churches. We got all the churches, and we got most of the workshops as well. Our economy is doing a-okay. Pick up mill 9, get a little innovativeness. That's totally okay with me. Go ahead and ally to Castile. And we can get Castile for free if we want later. Again, we're just keeping our eye on that coalition map mode, kind of looking around to see where everyone's at. If a lot of people are around like low 10s, 20s, like maybe they kind of are now, it's going to be a good time to go back to war. So turn on the army, activate the forts, and let's just get ready to do that. We are kind of working through admin as well still. We know we needed this province as one of the required ones, so just go ahead and jump into that one. We actually know that we need Nuremberg as well. So I remember looking at that as one of the provinces that was required, Nuremberg. So we'll just go ahead and co-belligerate them as well. While we're here, let's check what else we're going to need. I think that's looking like Saxony. So we probably want to break that alliance. For now, let's just go ahead and go to war here. We'll co-belligerate Nuremberg. Super easy war. So again, we're just going to white peace anyone else in the war we didn't co-belligerate, as kind of normal. And one thing we want to do is curry favors with Castile. You'll see why we're doing this later. We need favors. So I'm just white piecing out anyone that is a secondary target, so to speak, that I didn't co-belligerate. Just because I potentially want short truces. I like to white piece again the short truces. You can take money if you felt like you needed it. But in this war, we're just going to take these two provinces. We know these are both required to form Germany. I'm going to delete this fort here. It's just in a farmland. It's not going to be that useful for us. One thing I actually do want to do is connect to the coast. This is actually because I want to take land from Portugal in a bit here, so I can get Spain for free. But that is, of course, something we're going to do down the line. In fact, we can go ahead and just monthly insult on Verdun. We have claims from our mission tree, and it shouldn't be a very difficult war. Let's just go ahead and take care of it. We just want to be connected to the coast so that we can be in range to take Portugal's land. We're going to be lazy and auto siege because I don't even really know who we're at war with. White piece any secondary targets here. Just always that mindset of keeping those truces nice and short. Just go ahead and take these two provinces here. A little bit of money is fine. We're doing that so we connect to the coast. That way we might be in range to get Portugal's land. Finishing up our admin as well here. Okay, looks good. We can get a policy here. It's really handy. It gives you advisor costs and corruption. To make quite a bit of money, we probably could up our advisor. It'd be good to up our privileged advisor because he gives us that AE impact. But also, it's not bad to get maybe level 3 here as well. Looks fine to me. Everybody did invest more into our economy. It is that time that we can go ahead and sell titles and seize land. Lots of money to work with. And we could probably build a couple factories if we wanted to. Get those going. And it's not a bad idea to get another stack of guys going since we have a bigger force limit now. So once again, same cycle, turning off our army, not at war for a second. It's also mothball forts. We have claims bordering claims if we did need to get to this province here, which seems like we might need to. So yeah, go ahead and fabricate claims on both these. We're getting our tech up. We're pretty good on tech right now, though. In fact, we probably want to use our mill points to get some professionalism. Again, getting professionalism up early is really advantageous. It gives you siege ability. And we are just using this age ability if you guys are wondering how we're going to do that. Claims ordering claims. We're tier 5 here. I really like military engineering. Let you barrage cheaper, but it's totally up to you guys what you think is good. A good shout out will also be sustained discipline. That's something that I like to switch to later on as the game progresses as well. So we got our 2 claims here. We need to send an insult. Now, we've been allied to the Papal States for a while, so we can probably make him break alliance for us. So I'd rather not fight him. Just have him break alliance with Strasbourg. Let's go ahead and declare that war. And we can look to see if we need Frankfurt. I don't think we do. No, we should be good. Just go ahead and declare on Strasbourg. It's probably not how you say it, by the way. I apologize. And if you want to waste military points, we totally can. We feel like barraging. Not that I recommend that. It would be better to get my professionalism up, for sure. But if you're impatient, come on, it's my turn to be the papal controller. Always worth trying. The leader died. No big deal. He's pretty good, though. It's kind of sad. Now, what is this curse thing? Yeah, we're going to disinherit that. Royal marriage, Castile. We do want to get really good trust with Castile because that's how we get him as a union. Let's just trade some favors for that. I think you need 80 trust, if I'm right, so we should be good. But we'll obviously double check that. We're going to white piece out secondary targets. I guess in this case, we probably can get that prestige back since we use a bit of prestige disinheriting. Not a bad idea. So just make some end rivalries. He doesn't really have any rivals, so just, whatever else. Let me just go ahead and take this province. So that's one of the, I think, 3 more provinces or 3 more wars we need to do. Yeah, so we just need Hamburg, Lubeck, then Hesse's province, and then Saxony. So we got kind of 3 more wars to go to. Let's go ahead and kick off this next one. Now we could take Erfurt or Dresden here. It doesn't really matter to us. Both are pretty viable. Let's go ahead and end the war. Just going to grab Dresden. We don't really need anything else. We should probably get prestige from the others first. And I'm going to recommend that you do that. But I'm not going to worry about it for the sake of a guide, right? But if you're being min-max, that's probably what you'd want to do is try to get that prestige to max through that end rivalry situation. Anyhow, we have 2 more wars to go. The next one's going to be Lubeck. Let's go ahead and insult him. And if we're afraid of this war being a little bit difficult, we can go ahead and call in Poland for some security. We don't really need to do that, of course, but we might as well. This guy's had an okay game for himself, actually. I mean, it's not going to be good enough, of course. We're Austria. We can see he has got quite a few guys, but Poland's going to take care of him. We can try to reinforce, but we couldn't even make it in time. Feels bad. Golden Age is over, but as I said, that was mainly a way to snowball, and I'd say that we've effectively snowballed pretty hard at this point. Let's go ahead and take the 2 provinces here. Again, no coalition or anything like that. All good. We've been slow and methodical in this campaign. So now we just need to do our final war for the Germany part, and that's going to be this one here. We'll just go ahead and grab that province. Again, no coalition. So we have all the provinces we need to form Germany. We just need to core them up, of course. I'm not sure I'm in range of provinces from Portugal, but I'm hoping so. Although we get more colonial range at the next tech level, if not. So I notice Portugal's protecting the independence of Morocco. So that seems like a really easy scenario for me. So I'm just going to call Castile to help me fight that, and I'm going to no CB. The only issue I might have is that I might not be able to take the provinces we need, and I think France might not want to give me access. We'll just have to see. I should have set provinces of interest. I might be a little late on that, though. All right, France has let us through. I just need to grab like 4 provinces for myself for the mission here. You'll see what I mean in a minute. Let's boost our stat back up, of course. Get internal conflicts. I gotta try to like get in there because they might not give me the land. I should have set provinces of interest, by the way. That would have been a much easier way than me trying to run in here and steal the land like I'm doing. I got a lucky event here. Cause is just. This is from having espionage, so a little bit of AE impact. So I'm gonna have a kind of hard time stealing this land, I think. So I just need to make sure that I get this last province, I guess. But yeah, this was not played ideally. We did get unified Germany done though. It's really nice. We just need to assault here because I need to be sure I get that province before they do. Anytime we assault, of course, we can shift consolidate because I need to be able to take 4 provinces for myself. This is not ideal. Okay, well, I screwed this up. That's okay. I'm gonna grab the institution here just so I can grab it. I definitely screwed up this war. I'm just gonna take 1 province from Portugal, and then we'll just hang out. At least this way we don't have to know CV next time, though. I just need 4 provinces over here, so we're just gonna chill. It's kind of the one last thing that I would think that we should do before we form Germany. But hey, this time we'll be able to get claims on Portugal at least. We're getting our techs up to 10. We're just, we're basically right where we want to be. I just want to complete 1 more mission with Austria. And it would probably be smart to do more missions with Austria, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. Let's seize land here. Keep on the ball with that. So just grabbing a few claims over here in Portugal. Then we'll go ahead and do that war in a bit. I should have attacked him directly instead of no being Morocco. We'll just hang out. We could be going to more wars, but again, it's not really important for what I'm trying to show you guys. Could be turning off our maintenance as well, but again, it's just, I'm kind of ready to show you guys the end result here. Get our tech to 10, pick up a new idea group. This idea group could really be whatever you guys wanted. Maybe we pick religious and we go Protestant, mix things up. Something of that nature could be fun. Protestant Reformation is here, speaking of going Protestant. We're to wait to do that, of course, but it's something that we definitely could do. Could also look to start integrating Hungary or Bohemia if we want. There's a Spain. Want to be sure to set provinces of interest here this time when we go to war. I'm pretty sure Spain doesn't want anything. He just, is in the yellow. So our truce expired. Is Portugal ready to do this? We have to fight England, which is okay. I set province of interest, so I shouldn't have any problems getting the provinces handed over to me. I should have done this the first time, but lessons learned. Capped on my Diplo points, and I can't really do much with it, but we could go back to deving that gold. Why not? Get that back up there. And since England's in the war, it's taking a minute before I can peace out. That's okay. Portugal wants to hold on a little bit longer, but we'll look good to go now. We just need 4 provinces total to get this done. And you'll see we can go ahead and grab Iberian relations. And that gives us a decision to unite with the Iberian crown as long as our trust is 80 and our opinions above 190, which it is. And can see that we get Navarra and Spain as PUs. Didn't really want Navarra, but it is what it is. I'll just grab what other missions we have. Can make Spain into an incorporated personal union. And now we should be ready to form Germany. And hit yes, please. This also gets rid of the HRE, which is handy. And we should be in a very comfortable spot to continue this campaign, of course. We're Germany. We have Spain, Hungary, and Bohemia as PUs. And we're obviously just going to be in a very, very good spot to continue. And let me know if you guys would like to see this continued. Hopefully this has been helpful for new players. I'm trying to make some content for new players every now and again. I try to make a beginner-friendly guide. Anyhow, if you guys enjoyed this, consider subscribing. As always, thanks for watching and have a good one.